Hello, Exploring Awareness podcast listeners. This is Frank Anderson. I have some very sad news to share with all of you. Lisa Berry passed away on Tuesday night, November 30th, 2021. You may have remembered from a previous episode that she had had some heart issues, and these got exacerbated. This was unexpected, and we've had episodes in the past about grief and exploring awareness of grief, but when we talked about grief before, it was very theoretical. And today, speaking for myself, it's a very deep, raw grief of the loss of my dear friend and podcast co-host. We've been together since January of 2020, when she first approached me to do the radio spot with her on meditation, and then we started the podcast, and 62 episodes we recorded together. She learned so much and was such a good teacher for me and for all of you, I'm sure. The suddenness and the rawness of it all has left me in a sense of raw grief. I'm experiencing the pain and the loss and the sense of lack of control and unexpectedness of it all. These are all normal reactions from our grief, right? They come and they go, and they're part of our human experience, and they can't be denied. But during this really, really difficult grieving, I was reminded of David Whyte's poem. Lisa loved David Whyte. His poem, The Well of Grief. Those who will not slip beneath the still surface on the well of grief. Those who will not slip beneath the still surface of the well of grief. So if you don't become aware of your grief, being aware, the next stanza, turning down through its black water to the place we cannot breathe, right? So slipping into the sheer smothering of this feeling of grief, being completely present to it, letting it be, not resisting. The next stanza. We'll never know the source from which we drink, the secret water, cold and clear, nor find in the darkness glimmering the small round coins thrown by those who wished for something else. Those who will not slip beneath the still surface of the well of grief, turning down through its black water to the place we cannot breathe, will never know the source from which we drink, the secret water, cold and clear, nor find in the darkness glimmering the small round coins thrown by those who wished for something else. And so reflecting on that, this well of grief, and instead of throwing a coin in a well wishing for something different, we take this intensely painful loss, bring it to awareness and see the working of the universe, accepting what is as unacceptable as it is on the surface. It is what it is. And so, the only way out is through. And so we go deeper into the grief and find there in the awareness and in the awareness of awareness what David Whyte calls the secret water, cold and clear, or the small round coins thrown by those who had wished for something else. And so, no matter what has happened to us in this world, what remains is our core of peace and joy and love and generosity. And Lisa was all about love. All about love. She said that in every episode, practically. She said, we can find peace and joy in the most unlikely places. And although there is no joy and peace in this situation, there's the opportunity to grieve with grace. And just like this episode 62 we just recorded, which I just listened to and found a lot of comfort in, about returning to unity in a common consciousness, we can do that while we're alive, or we do that after we die. But either way, we've all suffered a great loss. Our dear friend Lisa Berry was no longer with us on this earth, but she is with us in spirit and in our awareness of awareness. I would love to connect with anyone out there who would like to help us remember Lisa. We can have a Zoom memorial. If you'll send an email to me at exploringawareness@gmail.com, I'll send you a Zoom link and we can meet. We used to record on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, so that's when I would like to do it. I'm not sure exactly which Monday yet, but please send me an email. I'd also love it if people would send me their favorite Lisa sayings. We'd love to be able to share that with her family as well. But for now, I would like for us to do a meditation together. I know that Lisa would appreciate it. She always liked the guided meditations. And so please join me finding your seat, finding your space, finding your breath. And we'll start just being aware of the breath. And noticing the quality of the breath, and noticing how it might be different when we're experiencing this emotional tumult, emotional pain. Right, but we're just aware and present to the breath. And how grief may change how we breathe. And then we'll be aware of the body. And how does your body feel? Where does the grief live? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it as a tightness in your chest, or a punch in the stomach, or pain in the head? These are all things that I feel in my body, aware of my body, aware of the overall feeling of like having the flu. Right? My facial muscles are different, and the body feels different. So, bringing awareness to that. With the awareness, my shoulders return and my face returns to a more relaxed state, because now I'm aware that I'm holding this grief. The chest still feels tight, still not comfortable. But I know this is from grief, and I know I'm going to just be aware of whatever is happening in my body, and mindfulness is about being aware non-judgmentally. And now being aware of the emotions. Sadness is so present. Regret, guilt, anger, all of these different feelings, all contributing to this overall sense of dread and disbelief and this impossibility that this could happen. Recognizing that, like in our RAIN acronym, recognizing and then just acknowledging and accepting that this is what's happening in the body. Investigating how it affects ourselves, affects the body, affects how we feel in our body and in our mind. And then the N is for nurture. Can we accept with compassion our human condition that requires us to have to suffer through these episodes. The compassion that comes from awareness of all things as they are, and as hard as it is to accept. Is there a space where awareness opens to compassion? And is there space where there's just a glimmer of this grieving with grace instead of resistance, acceptance, and just some joy in just having the world be as it is, as difficult as it is. As much as we want to fight it, by just accepting something about the truth, perhaps we can find a little peace in this awareness and unity consciousness that I know Lisa is sharing with us. And I know that Lisa was all about love. And this is the unconditional love. This is love of the universe, and that love is still the same as it was when she was with us in the body, and now without us, without the body. The love is always there, as she loved to say. So no matter what's going on in our emotions and our thoughts and our breath, and just rest as awareness and connection, returning, as we spoke about, to presence, to something original that we had before we were born and after we die. And again, episode 62 is so related to what's happening with us right now. So the grief, present to the grief, present to the questions, present to the anger, present to the fact that this makes no rational sense. Perhaps grieving with grace. Grieving what we have to do as humans, and we're still here, and our lives are full of tragedy and good things. As much as we want to change, as much as this doesn't make sense, we return, as difficult as it is, to awareness, of the present moment experience. And just see what you find there. And of course, for me, it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth into suffering and grieving, and then awareness and presence. Back and forth, back and forth, with attempts at also allowing whatever is present to be present without judgment. And again, reminded of David Whyte's poem, those who go beyond the surface of the well of grief, smothered in the darkness, will find the secret water, cold and clear, and the small, round, and shiny coins thrown by those who wished for something else. So take a couple more deep breaths. And we will close now. We don't have Lisa here to give us her feedback, but I know that she would be talking all about love and peace and joy found in the most unlikely places. And I would say, have a good week. And I'll still say that to you. We will all be grieving together, and I hope that I will get to meet some of you at the Zoom memorial, so please send me the email. And, stay tuned for the next episode of the Exploring Awareness podcast.